welcome to Knit Night 57 of the Sweet Lavender Knits podcast. My name is Christine and I'm coming to you from outside of Toronto, Ontario in Canada. Today is February the 6th, 2021 and it is a Sunday morning and I wanted to sit down and chat with you. Today I have a tiny finished object, some works in progress that I'm excited to share, and I will be announcing the winners of the SockAlong as well, so hang on tight for that. So why don't you grab your needles, your favorite project, something nice to drink, and let's get started. So welcome if you are new, and welcome back to those that are returning. Thank you all for your lovely comments and likes and everything that you did right on the last episode. I really do appreciate it. I'm glad that you enjoyed the little clip I had of me spinning right in the beginning of the last podcast. And yes, as Suzette did point out, my wheel was shaking, and I just need to, it's something to do with the mechanics, the actual wheel itself needs to be tightened at some point. I tried figuring it out and I couldn't. I have to wait on my husband to do that. And Suzette, I read him out your comment. I hope that will give him some time this week to maybe try and help me fix that wheel from wobbling so much. But yes, my floor is level as far as I know, at least. But it is the wheel that was wobbling. This would have been a shorter week if I had filmed yesterday, and I'm honestly not feeling so good. I feel like I'm just drained. I don't know if it's because I just need a little time to rest up after a really busy month end the last week, the week before, and then this week was just carry on from that. So maybe that's what it was, but just yesterday I had no energy whatsoever to be spruced up and sit in front of the camera and do the podcast. But I did manage to cast on something on the needles, which I will be sharing in works in progress, that I am excited, and I'm sort of grateful that I did that yesterday, because it really brightened my mood and gave me something to talk about today, which is always nice. I will be taking a few breaks in between. As you can probably hear, I have a little bit of a scratchy throat. So I will be taking breaks in between to sip on my tea. Thank you for all the love on the Snow Kisses hat that I hope to be publishing at the end of this week coming up. But I still haven't managed to take any pictures for it yet, because I wanted my daughter to model it, and we just need to find some time to go outside and maybe get some nice pictures. Today's a bright day, so maybe we'll be able to do that today, hopefully, if I can convince her to get dressed up a little bit for me. And what else can I say? It's just been, otherwise we're still here. We are still in lockdown, but the schools are going to be opening up with their, I think it's the restrictions that they already had in place back in September. But my kids will be, well, the two older ones are doing uni anyways. They have online classes, and my youngest, we had opted for him to do online as well from school, because we thought it would be a lot less worrying, and it's harder for kids to sort of follow the rules, and there's only so much that teachers can watch over them, right? So we were trying to be a little cautious in that, and yeah, he's at home and loves it that he doesn't have to get dressed up in the morning to go to school, and just showers, puts on some clean clothes, and sits in front of his Zoom meeting with the teacher in the class. which is a different method really, but I can see how some parents need to have the kids in school, which is I totally get that. What else have I been doing? I've been really busy this morning because I thought it would be a lot easier for me to draw the prices, but I've had to like sit down and write out all of the entries, and then all this messy stuff is crossing out my entries. You know, if I did any chatter or something like that, like I had to cross those out, and then to be able to draw the winners, which I have done, so I will share that with you. So yes, let's move right on to finished objects. And like I said, I don't have a real finished object, but I did do something that I wanted to for a while, is to have more tiny ornaments maybe for this tree that I am working to stay in my podcast. And you've probably seen a little glimpse of it, like it's just a branch really that I have some fairy lights on, but I thought I would use that to sort of swap the ornaments through your different things that are coming up. And so with Valentine's coming up, I was thinking of doing the little knitted hearts, and then I had to look for the stuffing, and I put stuffing somewhere. So I opted for something else, and I did a tiny sweater. And this is a little, actually a pattern on Ravelry, a free pattern. It's a tiny sweater by Miriam Fenton. But the sweater, the designs she has on the sweaters are for Christmas motifs, and I had initially taken that pattern into my library because I wanted to make the little sweaters for around Christmas. So I did the sweater, and the sweater went well, and then I had to do a duplicate stitch for like the motif, and I did a heart. It looks fine from here, but if I bring it closer, it's such a botched job. I don't like it at all, but for now it'll stay as my one and only ornament for Valentine's, I guess, until I get it better. But this would be the duplicate stitch, which looks a lot easier than when you actually go to do it. So yes, it looks fine from here, not so much close up, but it's a cute little sweater pattern. Please excuse that heart, but it's a cute little sweater pattern that is knitted in the round with DPNs. And the one thing I wasn't too particular about was that it leaves this big gap under the arm here that I just sort of, luckily I had left the end long, so I just picked up some stitches and sort of covered it up. Grand scheme of things, it's not gonna make much of a difference, but that's my finished object for today. I haven't blocked it or anything, but I will have it up on my tree, and hopefully I can get some knitted hearts done as well. But yes, that's that. So I didn't realize that this is going to be a pink episode. Pink cup, pink clothes, pink shawl. And I will just tell you what I am wearing. This is the Across the Pond shawl. The pattern is by Mina Phillips, who is the knitting expat. And I thought I would take this out because it's been such a long time since I wore the shawl. It's been sitting in my closet, folded up, and it is, I love the yarn. It's amazing yarn. It's by handmade I'll put it up on the screen because I can't remember it, but it's amazing. It's got mulberry silk in it and very, very soft. And this is a sparkly yarn. I don't know if you can see the sparkles. Yeah, it's kind of hard to show it, but it's a beautiful lace. And obviously you can't see the beauty of the lace just because it needs a good blocking now. It's been a very long time, and it's a nice big shawl. Like, it's really, really big, and it's a crescent shape shawl. And I thought I would just wear it today because I'm feeling a little cold. But okay, let me try and put it back on. And then I just wear it like a wrap style. And it is nice and cozy. So, but yeah, it definitely needs a blocking, and so I thought I would just take it out today, wear it on the podcast, and then along with the other knits that I need to wash, I will give it a good soak and block it out, and that will be a project in itself. Anyways, yes, so that is what I'm wearing, Across the Pond by Mina Phillips, and it is a lovely pattern. It took me a very long time at the time to knit it. I think I extended it beyond what the pattern actually called for, and I am glad I did, because it's like an extra large shawl. I use, if I remember correctly, hers was pretty large too, but I extended it even more just to use up all of this pink yarn. And then I put in the border, and I did a few extra rows on the border too, so I've extended it that way as well. And yeah, it definitely needs a blocking, and it's beautiful lace when blocked. I'll give you a little peek of that. Yeah, I don't think it even does justice to it, but it is nice. So okay, so maybe if I wear it like this, it breaks up the pink a little bit because it's too much pink there. Moving on to works in progress. So first of all, let me show you the work in progress that has come out of hibernating, and I just realized this is also pink. Oh my gosh, this is like the pink episode. This is my Elton by Locatelli. It is a pattern that I started last year, and it is taking me forever and a half. It's not a difficult pattern, really. It's just, I think it's the back and forth, and I'm not fond of, I now prefer knitting in the round. I can tell you that. But yeah, it's not a difficult pattern. It's just stockinette with a little bit of a fiddly start for me. But I'm just trying to find the front of this, okay, to show you. So this is where I was. So this is the top neck, and you come down, and this is where I'm at. So the last time I showed this to you, I was right where this lovely Progress Keeper is. This is one of her makes from Chapel View Crafts. She's a UK Progress Keeper. She does all these tiny polymer clay stitch markers, Progress Keepers, needle minders, those kind of things. Very, very talented. I can tell you some, some of these, I had this for an Advent set the year before, and they look very realistic. I love them. So this one stays on this project here, and that is where I'm at, and I'm dropping stitches. So yes, I've picked it back up because I thought, with the Craft 20 a day, it's Make Along that Ellie from Craft House Magic is hosting, and basically to work 20 minutes on a project each day. And so I thought I would add this one as well to my to that Make Along. So I have my branches and buds on it, and I do the 20 minutes on that. But for 20 minutes I can only get about 4 rows on that, and the same with this. I've been doing and it's just been the 4 rows, so it's one stripe before I have to switch the stripe onto the next yarn, because I'm using 2 yarns on this one. So it is a mohair, which is Milda Bordeaux's a yarn, and it is very, very soft pink. There, it's blowing out a lot, but there you go, very soft pink. And then the other yarn is holes, and I don't know, it's actually from a very big cone, which you probably saw a peek of it right in the intro that I did, because I have it sitting on my shelf here. Is it shelf? Well, the IKEA unit. And what I did is I wound out a cake of it, and that's working out. So yes, I am losing stitches, so I will slowly put this back in. This is, yes, my Elton by Locatelli, and I will be working the 20 minutes a day on this as well, so that I can get a little bit more progress, and I'm not pushing it, but I am hoping I can try and get it done for spring. So that is my first work in progress. The second work in progress is one that I started yesterday. And it is a project that I wanted to do with all of the lighter shades of the Advent minis that I got. And I was looking through Ravelry for a project, because I was thinking of a cowl. I wanted to do a cowl, and the one I had in mind was one that's been in my queue for a very long time, but it had a little bit of lace detail in it, and I didn't want, I wanted to show off the yarns basically, and not compete with the pattern. So I found this pattern, and I am so glad that I found it, because it is so simple and yet it looks brilliant. It is the Flying Solo cowl. It's a free pattern by one of the ladies who's designed it, from Espace Tricot, which is a yarn store in Montreal in Canada. And I visited there a few years ago, and when I went in there, now, you know, when I'm thinking about it, I was such a novice in the knitting world. I was a knitter, but I was such a novice in the knitting world. I didn't know people. I didn't know, you know, I didn't really know too much about Ravelry, and my knitting patterns were mostly like books. So when I met them, and they were the kindest ladies and so friendly, and they were trying to help me find a project, or they were asking me what projects I wanted to make, and so to try and help me with the yarn. And I just didn't think much of it, and you know, we had a nice conversation. It was a short while I was there. My family, my husband was very nice enough to take the kids off somewhere else, do a little bit of their shopping, while I got a few, maybe an hour to spend at a yarn store. So I was like really thrilled about it, and I did come away buying quite a few skeins of yarn from there, but now I realize that they've been, you know, now that I know more about all of this, I realized that they offered me some patterns, and I brought it home, but I don't think I ever used it because they were the printed patterns. I have it somewhere, but all of their patterns are free, and both of them design, and they have lovely designs. And so I found one that I really liked from there, because I was looking for this cowl pattern that was very simple, but just showed off the yarns. And so and this is my version of it, pink again. But here we go. So I've started off doing this yarn. And the pattern requires you to hold 2 strands of yarn together, which I did not do. Instead, what I did is I have been holding one of the fingering along with alpaca silk, and it gives it that fluffy look. So I will say that I started off with the first mini, which is on the bottom here, and looks a lot muted because of the alpaca silk in there, but it was a very vibrant peaches, orange, pinks, and it was called Summer Sherbet, and it is one of Debbie's hand-dyed yarns from Black Mountain Creations. So I love that I started off with that. So it just gave me that pop of color, and then it moves into the pastel pinks and peach. There are 2 colors in here actually, and those 2 are from Karen, who hand-dyed hers as well. So I left a little bit of this because you have to knit them separately, these 2 flaps, and then put them together, which I've just done yesterday. Well, that's where I stopped basically after joining the two flaps together. And yes, so you can see more of the peach and the pink here that's blended, and I'm glad I left a little bit of the Summer Sherbet to put right at the bottom so it ties it in together. So that's what I've done, and I really, really like it. I also want to show off some knitting jewelry that I received with my Advent minis, and it is I have the Malika, and they have knitted wire jewelry, and their website is www.malika.co.uk, and it is beautiful. It is beautiful. So I got these 2 stitch markers and a progress keeper that I just put on there so I could show it to you. Let me just try and find some more light to show you there. There you go. So it's a little peach one, sort of pinky peach actually, and then a more darker one, and this. So I'm very, very thrilled with this project. It is turning to be such a fun project. And now my next color in, so this is what I'm using right now, this little pink from Karen, I believe, and I will then move into a lighter shade of pink, and I'm trying to do like a little bit of a gradient. We'll see how it goes. And yes, so that is a very, very exciting project that I could not put down, and I had to like just time myself and say stop, now pick up the next, your 20 minutes a day projects and work on that, because it was so much fun. Once I found the project and I had the idea of doing that gradient and just starting off, it was so much fun. The needles that I'm using are my Knit Picks nickel plated needles, and the pattern calls for 4 millimeters, I believe. I tried the fabric at 4 millimeters, and I thought I needed it a little bit more squishy, so I went up a needle size. I'm using 4.5 millimeter needles, and yes, it's on a short cord, so it's working out really well. What I do need on here are probably those stitch stoppers, no, needle stoppers. I don't know what they call, but the stoppers on top of the needles. So yes, this is the alpaca silk that I'm using, and it is the same as what I had for my Snow Kisses hat, which I don't have the band with me, so I'll put it up on the screen. And that is living in my project bag from Berlin, which is one of her hold and cherish bags, and I thought it was very appropriate given all of the yarn balls in there with the little kitties looking at, watching while you're knitting. So that was my second work in progress. And now moving on, I don't have any lovely things this time, but I do have the winners for our SockAlong. So starting in November, we started off with a SockAlong that was called the Sweet Lavender SockAlong, and I first of all want to thank all of you that did participate. It was touch and go at the beginning, but it did pick up speed, which was really nice. We had 82 entries, and I had to handwrite it all out so that I would be able to figure out what the number of entries was, because I think I didn't specify the last time. So what I did was, if you had more than one picture of a finished, more than one picture within the post, I just split it up as a different post itself. So I had to do a little bit of math, but maybe next time I'll remember to specify to do one entry per post so that it's just easier for me to draw. Anyway, I've done all of the writing out and the counting, you know, putting a post number to your entry, and I did pick those that had entered on Instagram as well, and I have included them in the count here. There were just a few entries on Instagram, so I just included it all in the count. I'm gonna do 2 drawings, one for a Ravelry price, and the second would be the Yarny price. So I didn't bring the yarn with me, but I will tell you that the winner of the Yarny price can choose either to have the Knit Picks yarn, which is from the Heather colorway, I believe, or you can do a lucky dip with me, and I will dye up some yarn for you, which is also on a Knit Picks base, a bare yarn base, and maybe you can tell me your favorite colors, and I will try to use those in the dyeing of the yarn. And I would like to give you that option so that you're not you know, stuck with yarn that I dyed, that if that's not what you want to go for, or if you want to go for a more solid color, then the Knit Picks Heather would be your choice, I guess. So the first draw I did was for the Ravelry price, and it worked out to number 58 on my sheet here, which is post 48 in Ravelry, and that was Tracy, who is Pink Magic Knits. Congratulations, Tracy. And I have written down here that post was chatter in my really bad handwriting. So congratulations, Tracy. Do let me know on Ravelry which pattern of your choice, $10 and under, that you would like, and I will give that to you. The second was the Yarny price, and it was number 2 on my list, which is post 3, and that her Ravelry handle is Cheryl in Pickering. So congratulations, Cheryl. And Cheryl actually knitted the Herb Splatter socks, and here is her post with her version of the Herb Splatter socks. So Cheryl, I will reach out to you, and maybe you can give me your address so I can have that package sent to you once you decide on which price you would like to have. And yeah, if it's the yarn dyeing, you need to give me a little bit of time for that as well. So congratulations. I am really, really happy for all of you, and thank you for all those that did participate. Many of you made an effort to do shout outs for me, so I really do appreciate that. So yes, I did have some plans for another make-alongs fairly soon, so stay tuned for that. And I do encourage all of you that do watch regularly, or if you're watching, even if you're new and this is the first time you're watching, to do participate in the make-alongs, because our group is quite a small group, so your chances of winning are really high. So yes, that is what I have for you today. I thank you very much for sticking by and getting some crafting done, I hope, while you were watching. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and stay safe and keep well, and until next time, happy knitting. Bye-bye. 4.5 millimeter needles.